What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with they're watching the Mighty Emperor, Ruthless Destroyers. What if Sonic Frontiers had a tournament? Part 8. All right, so we about to finally start the second round. I'm very excited because it's gonna be some fire ass fight. Like we're gonna get Sonic and Shadow pretty soon. I don't know if that's gonna be this episode or not, but yeah, we got some fight. We got some fight. Silver and Mephiles, Chaos and Whispers. Like it's gonna be some fights. Blaze, Infinite. Alright, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it.
A tremor is accompanied by roaring thunder as everyone looks up to the sky to see it darken and cloud over, bringing it to a state of night. Sonic comments, "Well, that's something new." Infinite seems pleased with this turn of events. "A fitting vestige for the scene of your defeat, Hedgehog. Remember it well, for this grim sight will be the last you ever... Do you ever shut up?" Zavok calls over. "You've done a lot of talking, but from what I recall, you're nothing more than a glorified lackey. You're one to talk. Deadly Six, more like the Deadly Failures. You've been beaten numerous times by the Hedgehog and his sort. I almost won in my only encounter." Zavok grits his teeth in preparation for a rebuttal, but Sonic raises his hands up. Whoa, guys, you can fight over me some other time. I'm flattered." And they both grumble towards him, but stop bickering. The grin from Sonic's face fades away as he turns to address his friends. "You know, the further we get into this, the more likely it is we're going to end up having to fight one another. You guys alright with that?" Silver clenches a fist. "You know it. We all got this far. None of us are going to turn our backs on what needs to be done." Blaze looks impressed at Silver's resolve and compliments him. "You never lose your hopeful spark, do you?" "Thanks, but I got that all from hanging out with you guys." Blaze smirks and then says that her commitment has not wavered. Cream then pipes up, saying that she's in this as well. Amy can't help but glance worryingly towards Cream at the mention of that, and she mutters to the group, "Well, perhaps we can try not to go too hard against one another." Omega steps forward, hearing this. "I have no problem with smashing you all to the ground." Whisper's hand moves towards her Wispon, feeling as if this is a threat, but Shadow then adds, "Don't mind him. I will not be silenced, death or glory." As Omega shakes his hand in the sky with indignation, the end announces the next match will be between Omega and Surge. The electrified Tenric leaps onto the stage in an instant and begins stretching.
Oh, shit.
"At last! Oh, I was freezing over there. I thought I'd never get another chance to show you all how outclassed you are. Sure, some fancy tricks have been on the stage since my time, but don't forget, I'm the strongest here." Back on the sideline, Shadow looks to Omega. "Looks like you're up." "Excellent. I am primed for mayhem. Bear witness to my power." Omega's thrusters boost him from the side onto the arena, facing Surge. She looks at him, disappointed. "Yeah, really? First I had to fight a deadbeat, and now an Eggman robot? When am I gonna get a real challenge?" "Negative. I am not a mere Eggman robot." Omega smashes one of his feet to the floor and raises his fists. "I am the ultimate E-Series robot." "What's the difference? You're still walking junk destined to be scrapped." "Meatbag, I have been waiting for a glorious battle. If you prove disappointing, I will destroy you swiftly, so I may face a greater foe." The robot's blatant disregard of her insults causes Surge's eye to twitch with electricity. As she responds, "I'd like to see you try." "I do not try. I succeed." Omega points both his arms towards Surge, and his hands quickly fold in to reveal the miniguns, and he starts spraying a barrage of bullets in her direction. Surge smirks as she starts strafing Omega, who moves his arms in her direction to try and catch her, but her speed is far greater than Omega's. The bullets spray to the wind as she darts around him, running in circles as she jests, You're gonna have to try far harder than that if you want to hit me. Omega seems to agree, and instead holds both arms out to either side and begins rotating his torso in a way that an organic creature never could, causing a full circle of destruction around him. Surge is surprised by this, but instinctively leaps into the air above Omega, and whilst he's still spinning around with his miniguns, she rolls into a ball and boosts forward with a burst of lightning towards his head. Moments before impact, Omega's head turns separately from his spinning torso, and one of his arms intercepts Surge, clasping her as a spinball inside his clawed hand, holding her up while sparks of lightning cascade from between his fingers, and she tries to push against his immovable stance. "You appear to fight much like Sonic the Hedgehog," Omega says as he then smashes Surge into the floor. She uncurls from her ball, pinned between concrete and metal, as Omega's hands are clasped around her neck. Struggling to breathe, she still coughs out, "Better." To keep her quiet, Omega lifts her up slightly and then slams her into the ground again. "My original purpose was to eliminate Sonic the Hedgehog. I shall use that to my advantage." And Omega grabs Surge with his other hand and slams her further into the ground, activating his rocket thrusters as he pushes her into the concrete, causing it to crack beneath the pressure and sink slightly towards the earth. Surge is gasping for air, kicking with her legs as she struggles to move at all beneath this power. She starts sparking electricity through his arms. "Your pitiful lightning cannot harm me. I am made of superior alloys. My armor is impenetrable."
Shut up, bitch.
Whilst Omega lectures her though, she starts prying away at one of his claws, and she's able to tear a chunk of the surface metal from one of his arms. This allows her to maneuver her hand in between his two claws and thrust them aside. He only grabs her with one arm at this point, and she pushes off the ground with one of her legs, pivoting on her back and using all the strength she can muster to toss Omega on the one arm still grasping her, throwing him behind over her back like a judo throw as he crashes onto the concrete, splintering it yet again. Surge is panting as she picks herself up, rubbing her neck with one of her hands. Omega, meanwhile, slowly gets back up and takes his time turning around to face her. Back on the sidelines, everyone is astonished by the feat of strength that Surge put on display. Zaz is fist pumping in the air. "Oh, I'm gonna round up. I want to get some of that myself." Meanwhile, Blaze on the other side of the arena can't help but comment, "How is this girl this powerful? She just threw Omega." And Whisper quietly responds, "She's too powerful." Back on the arena, Omega processes what just happened. "Power levels exceeding expectations.
I told you,
Wonderful."
Scourge.
Surge spits onto the ground. "You're not taking me seriously, are you?" "Correction. I am gaining immense satisfaction from this fight." "Immense satisfaction?
You got a robo boner.
Grind you into dust." An uncontrolled discharge of electricity spews forth from Surge's wrists as she glares with intense rage towards Omega, her very body twitching at the sensation. "Oh yeah, now it's on." Omega widens his stance and bares his claws, ready for a new fight. "Challenge accepted." Surge suddenly puffs out her chest as an arc of lightning courses down her back, and then, in an instant, at the speed of light, she bursts towards Omega. He moves to respond, but before he can realize what's happened, he's stood further back on the arena than he used to be, a trail of smoke dusting from his original position. Surge had hit Omega so fast and so hard, he was shunted back several feet despite being made of pure metal. Omega looks back up at Surge, but she's already on her way once more, dashing right up in front of him and releasing a powerful blow with her fist, powered by a burst of lightning from the elbow. Omega isn't going to take any more of this though, and swings back with his own gigantic metallic arm, and they clash, the very strike ringing like thunder across the arena. But the barrage continues. Surge swings with her next arm, and Omega does the same, and they start trading blows with their hand over and over again, whirling like a hurricane of flesh against metal, each time thunder striking a flash of light. Surge increases the ante though. At the speed of light behind her, she packs quite the punch. Omega realizes that this isn't sufficient. Increasing lethality, he extends his claws to their full extent, serrated edges, and starts swinging even quicker, overdriving the servos in his arms. Slashing motions that would rend trees in half are being sent towards Surge at great speed despite Omega's size. She ends up hopping up slightly into the air and pushing against each of his claws with her feet repeatedly, and due to the speed of the interaction, it almost looks as if she's cycling in the air. But as a result, Omega's unable to deal any true damage to her. She takes the opportunity to send a bolt of lightning up, which pushes her down onto the ground. She lands with a heavy thud, and before Omega can respond, she boosts a short gap towards him and gets right up to his torso, smashing it twice with her fists and delivering a roundhouse kick to the top of his torso, pushing him backwards once again. Surge takes great pleasure in the dominance on display. "You're screwed now!" And she starts darting around him in a circle, causing an electromagnetic tornado to form around Omega.
Damn.
If he gets too close to any part of the edges, lightning bolts out and strikes him, keeping him contained in the middle. Surge is whirling around faster than the naked eye can see, but Omega doesn't rely on the naked eye. Target
'Cause
acquired.
I'm naked.
Surge was going to burst out of the whirlwind for a surprise attack, but Omega tracked the movement, and so her sucker punch is intercepted, her balled fist resting in the center of Omega's large open palm. However, instead of yielding, Surge continues to push against Omega anyway. The strange scene plays out in where the lumbering robot is being slowly pushed back by the smaller Tenrik. He pushes down with his large arm, but her small fist is able to push his own arm back. The pressure building in this grip as the back of his arm starts bursting, bolts flying out at the joint where it connects to the torso. However, Omega does have two arms, and he pulls the other one to Surge's face, exchanging its claw for a cannon, as he unleashes a ball of flame onto Surge, blowing her away, creating some distance and setting her on fire. As Omega reorganizes his body, Surge pats herself down quickly, panting with anxiety as the flames quickly die away. Enraged by this, she once again unleashes a torrent of electricity from her body. This time it can be seen sprawling into the sides of the invisible barrier to the arena and rippling across its surface. Omega raises his arm to absorb the stray bolts headed his way. She curls into a ball and starts whirling around on the spot, being supercharged by insane amount of electricity. Then, in an instant, she bursts towards Omega with the full force of lightning behind her, causing the arena's surface to splinter with each inch she makes. However, Omega simply points his cannon arm towards her again and intercepts the spinning Tenrik, encapsulating her within his arm. He points it towards the ground beneath his feet, fire, and shoots her out like a cannonball. Yet Surge's endurance allows her to strike the ground and revert the momentum, bouncing like a spring, uncoiling from her ball and delivering a lightning-powered uppercut onto that very same arm.
I'm going with Spurge.
A loud tearing sound can be heard as Omega's left arm is completely separated from his body, wires flailing in the air. Surge grabs his arm and lands in front of the robot. Silver gasps, "Omega's arm! It's gone!" Surge, still sparking with electricity but looking far more cocky, starts to taunt Omega, resting his arm across her shoulder. "Oh, what's the matter? Someone broke you? Don't worry, I'll lend you a hat." But before she can finish her joke, she's clocked in the face by Omega's spare fist, sending her in a corkscrew spin towards the ground. Rage factor increasing, eliminating target. Omega launches 2 missiles towards Surge, whilst his remaining arm returns to the minigun form and starts shooting towards her. Surge moves out the way of the first missile, but for the second, she releases a webbing of electromagnetic bolts, which catch the missile and spin it round back towards Omega.
What the hell?
Seeing this, his arm returns to claw form, and he grabs the missile as it spins past him, rotating his body a full 360 degrees before letting it go back towards Surge once again, hitting her, detonating in her face, as he then continues to shoot her through the smoke. Instead of cries of pain, her chuckling is heard, and the smoke moves away, showing that her aura of electricity has become so prominent the bullets are getting fried before they touch her surface. She walks slowly towards Omega into his minigun without taking any damage whatsoever. Switching ammunition, Omega switches up from the minigun into his flamethrower once more and fires against her. But unlike the last time, her electric aura is so intense, the flames do not touch her skin either. Surge tosses Omega's armor to the side and causes a large buildup of electricity in her hand to form. "It's time to finish you! Die already!" And she unleashes a bolt, a concentrated stream of lightning towards Omega that surges towards him. Omega responds in turn, channeling remaining power sources into his cannon. Full power, fire! And he shoots a large purple beam of energy that clashes with Surge's bolt of lightning. They push against one another, causing a blinding white flash to emanate from the center. Neither are budging. Both have taken sustained damage. Surge seems to be slowly losing her grasp.
Come on, Surge.
Overdrive. Omega's body starts glowing purple through the seams as he channels all non-critical power into his cannon arm. His beam gets larger and overwhelms Surge's lightning. She gives out a gasp of exhaustion just before she's completely enveloped by Omega's laser beam. Once his attack has ended, he lowers his arm and allows his engines to cool. Beautiful annihilation, but I remain supreme. Infinite laughs. Another one of all talk and no bite. I am the strongest here. What a fool. However, Surge's laughter is heard from the arena. You just don't get it, do you? Standing up from the completely obliterated arena surface, Surge, bruised and grasping her arm, grins towards Omega. Zavok unfolds his arms and leans in. Impossible! How could such a being exist? There's no way she could have survived that. Omega agrees.
Yes, scared.
Target unnaturally sturdy for a meat bag. Surge takes a step forward. I was built to destroy things far stronger than you. Built? Omega questions. Surge, however, wasn't in the mood to answer, and with a burst of lightning once again, she arrives right in front of Omega, thrusting his old arm into the joint of his remaining one like a spear through a shield, splintering it and prying it off. Omega takes a step back from the force as his arm thuds onto the ground. Surge tosses the remaining one, scarred and burned, away. Now you're armless. There's nothing you could possibly do to... And before she can finish, Omega steps on her foot with his own, headbutts her with his giant frame. Annihilate. Charge! And then boosts with his thrusters, forcing her back off the ground. He stops early while she continues flying back for a few more moments, and he takes this advantage to perform his last trick. Final barrage, engage! His torso opens up, revealing a horde of ammunition set to fire, and he unleashes the furious barrage of ordnance towards Surge. Giant missiles, lasers, spare rounds, everything he's got is sent in a massive chaotic blast to the Tenric's position.
I know you had this in his arsenal.
Surge is running low on power, but she can tell that this is a last gambit, and so she sparks her electricity through the points of her fingers to keep it controlled, allowing the missiles to detonate on each other, saving some of her strength. Omega, completely exposed with his core open and without any arms to protect himself, has no defense when she points her spare arm towards him and blasts him with a bolt of lightning. It courses through him inside and out, and his body gives up, separating into many pieces as it clambers onto the floor. Got him! Surge grins to herself, pleased with her work, but unable to bear the pain any longer, as she collapses face first onto the arena herself. Omega's remains fade away like all the other defeated combatants, but Surge's remain. The end demands someone remove Surge from the arena. No one seems particularly eager. Infinite takes the initiative. I'll move out the trash. And using the Phantom Ruby, her gravity is altered so that she's flung off into the side. Chaos extends his arm to catch her, softening her fall, and then dropping her somewhere on the grass. Our heroes, however, look towards Shadow. Amy walks in front of Shadow's point of view, tells him that she's sorry for his loss. I'm not concerned. Omega got exactly what he wanted. Cream then walks over to Shadow as well, and says, "It's okay, Mr. Shadow, you can be honest with us." He turns his head away, and says no more. What a fight we just bore witness to.
Okay.
The first fight of the second round, Omega versus Surge. Those two have more in common than you might think at a first glance. Anyhow, I hope you found that battle engaging. It was certainly the longest we've done so far.
Yeah, that was very long.
I don't know if the others are going to follow suit, but
Please
at least
don't.
for this one I had enough ideas to justify the runtime.
Man, shout out to the Mighty Emperor for this video, man. This fire. Man, Surge put up a good Omega put up a great ass fight, but Surge just, you know what I'm saying, she had that, she just went beyond ultra, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to her. But yeah, man, let me know how you feel about the video down below. Check out the last one right here. Check out another video you might like right here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.